So you guys know those videos that Criterion does where like an actor or a filmmaker or somebody is like picking out movies in the Criterion closet? Basically did the same thing with me and my parents, except we had to pay for the movies at the end.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and on today's video we're doing a Blu-ray haul, but it's not our normal quarterly one where I look at everything I picked up in the last 3 months. That'll be coming in the very near future. This one is specifically about the Barnes & Noble Criterion Collection sale that's going on right now. I thought it would be great if we talked about what I picked up. I thought about including it in the main Blu-ray haul, but then ultimately it was decided let's do it as a separate video, and I think that is a cool way to kind of talk about it. So this is essentially my picks, my mom's picks, my dad's picks, from the Criterion sale. Because usually when the Criterion sales happen, which for those that aren't aware, about quarterly Barnes & Noble does 50% off Criterion collection, which other online sites will sometimes price match too. It's in-store, it's online. My store in particular was stacked. They not only had the shelves filled, they had extra overflow boxes of stock. So I found everything I was looking for, and then of course found stuff that we weren't necessarily looking for. And they had plenty of stock of all of it, all formats too. I mean, they had like 20 copies of Godzilla vs. Biollante. They were ready for the sale. So shout out to Barnes & Noble for being prepped. It was really fun though. There was a bunch of people there on the first day of the sale. This sale does run till July 27th, 2025. So if you're watching this after that, well, here's some recommendations for the next sale. But if you can go out to Barnes & Noble or order online, it's a good time to pick up Criterion stuff because Criterion makes really good Blu-ray releases, but they are expensive, and so if you can get them 50% off, then they're more affordable. So we're going to go through the whole stack. It'll be talking about each movie and what's included. You know, obviously there's some special ones here. Most of them are standards, and we'll talk about everything we ended up picking up. So if you enjoyed this type of video, be sure to hit the like button so let me know and let YouTube know that you enjoyed it. And then hit subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss out on future Blu-ray videos, including the Blu-ray haul. But let's break into the Criterion haul for July 2025. All right, we're going to go alphabetically. So we're going to start with Bringing Up Baby. This is one of my mom's picks. Also one I enjoy. Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant. I haven't seen this one in quite a bit. This has been a little while now. This is a comedy movie. It's got a lot of really fun, sophisticated dialogue. I just read that off the back. I didn't come up with that on my own. But there's a lot of great stuff because basically Bringing Up Baby, as you can kind of tell from the leopard spots there, not about, a human baby. 1938, one of the things I love about Criterion is they're just like, here's your date, here's your runtime, here's your color, your aspect ratio, and all that is like right there. They do understand us. So pretty cool. This is going to be this release. I don't remember when this release came out. 2021 Criterion, so 2021 release. Some of these are not like brand new, but this is the Blu-ray edition of it. I'll do this for the bonus features because they usually come with a lot, so I'm just gonna put that there, which is pretty nice. And yeah, this is a fun movie. This is a real fun movie. I do love the interior decoration on the inside case. We got the disc there. We do have a booklet. And that's all the thing too is, yeah, Criterion releases are expensive. They do pack a lot into them. This booklet is kind of this, I would say, the standard Criterion booklet, which is where you get like your cast and crew credits, and then you get like an essay about the movie, and then sprinkled throughout our production stills from the film, which is really cool. And this is standard Criterion. This is not like a limited edition. It's like every copy of this movie comes with this booklet, which is pretty cool. And then here's a second thing. I think this one is I think this is maybe the original short story that inspired the movie. Yeah, so you get that included too, which is really, really awesome. So yeah, it's really cool. You got a whole thing about the restoration, and that's what I do like about Criterion releases. This was one of those movies where my mom was like, I'm pretty sure we own this, and I was like, yes, we do, but we don't own the Criterion release, so we don't own the best release. Because yeah, usually if Criterion gets their hands on it, typically going to be one of the better releases just because of it. It's just going to cost you a little bit more. Do love the spotted design on the spine as well. Double Indemnity. This is a noir film. Fred MacMurray, Barbara Stanwyck, Edward G. Robinson, 1944. This is one of the more famous noir films. I think I haven't seen this one in maybe 15 years at this point. It's been a long time. I'm actually, all these movies I picked up, plan to watch them in the very near future. And I do like that the runtimes are here because sometimes we'll run them at night. Once again, great. This is a 4K release. We found the Blu-ray on the shelf, the 4K in the overflow box. So once again, shout out to Barnes & Noble having the stock, because if you're getting it, for me, I have the setup for 4K. So if there is a 4K, I'm going to pick up the 4K. What's wild about this as well is that you not only have the movie on the 4K, but you have 2 Blu-ray discs for not just the movie, but also all the bonus features. So it's really stacked. It's rare to see a 3-disc set for Criterion, but it's definitely there. This is kind of the untraditional booklet style, which is where it's a fold-out. Once again, you have an essay about the movie, plus cast and crew credits. And this continues on both sides, which is pretty cool. So sometimes for them, it's sometimes a Blu-ray, or sometimes a booklet, and sometimes a little fold-out. Once again, really great movie if you like noir stories. Really, really solid. All right, Funny Girl. This was Barbra Streisand's first major film, I believe. My mom is a huge Barbra Streisand fan, and she's been listening to the audiobook of Barbra Streisand's memoir, which even has like music included, and she reads the thing. It's like 48 hours. So there was a whole section about the production of Funny Girl, and my mom, once again was like, do we have Funny Girl? And I was like, yes, but we don't have the Criterion release. And so the Criterion release here, this is the 4K edition, because they'd previously released it on Blu-ray. There's the bonus features there. This was actually one of the films on the list. So I made a list of movies I wanted to get for Criterion. I was like, all right, on the next sale, I'm going to pick up this, 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 and this. Funny Girl was on that list because my mom had been talking about it. So we got the 4K, we got the Blu-ray, got a really nice booklet as well. Or this one's a fold-out, actually. Yeah, this one's a fold-out. So we got another, essay about the movie, which are pretty lengthy, which is pretty nice. And then you got your credits and acknowledgments on the back about the transfer. And all that stuff with stills from the movie, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, once again, another really solid release, but a really cool one. I haven't seen this movie before, and I'm looking forward to watching it in the near future. And then my mom's going to give me like the 3-hour recap of all the behind-the-scenes info from that book. So looking forward to that. All right, The Great Dictator, a Charlie Chaplin film where he was doing a parody of Hitler. And essentially also a parody of fascism and dictators in general. There's specific reasons we picked this up right now, not just because it was on sale. Thought it was a good time to revisit, a good old parody of dictatorship. So we have a really cool cover. I think it's got this really great imagery to it. But you can see inside we have the very famous bouncing ball globe scene, and then the booklet itself is, of course, decked out with all kinds of imagery. So you have, your table of contents. I like how it has the chapter listings. That's pretty cool. So some of the artwork that kind of appropriate to the movie. You got the cast. You got the credits. You can see that they've got kind of caricatures of characters from the film, which are of course caricatures of people in real life. And you get a couple different essays here. So the first essay, which is included, is by Michael Wood, and then this one is actually by Charles Chaplin himself, which is a really cool thing that was in the New York Times in 1940. And then there's actually a third essay. So they really stacked out everything you could have about the context and history of the movie, which I think is really, really cool. And I do like kind of the parallel there. Really great movie. I, again, haven't seen it in a bit. Time to revisit it. Real good time to revisit. The Great Escape, an inspiring title. This is Steve McQueen, James Garner, Richard Attenborough. This movie is one of the famous prison escape movies, and this one in particular I do remember being really good. I have seen it before. I've definitely watched it. It's been a while. This is basically a story of 250 men attempted to escape from a German prisoner of war camp during World War II. And it's kind of like where we get a lot of tropes from escape movies, honestly, like the whole digging a tunnel to get out. Love the disc art there. What's really cool is the booklet is a fold-out that has the map of the prison that they're in, which I think is really cool. So it's got kind of that going on, and then of course it's got an essay inside. I think that's kind of fun is that there's not only a bunch of bonus features on a lot of Criterion releases, but they're like, here, have a booklet, do some reading. It's I think that's also where Criterion sort of gets this reputation of being a little we're upscale and we won't do certain movies because they're too below us. But Criterion does have some exceptions to that rule. Like Godzilla, an absolutely incredible movie that deserves to be in the Criterion collection, and the fact that they do multiple Godzilla releases is also a sign that Criterion as a company and as those curating it recognize the talent of all types of filmmaking. which I really appreciate. So this is the 1954 Godzilla. Now, funny story about this. So I have had, this would be like my 4th or 5th time owning this movie. So this is the original Criterion Collection Blu-ray for Godzilla, which is just the Blu-ray edition. This was, I believe, my first Criterion release that I ever picked up. And the reason I did that was I was in high school at the time, and it wasn't just that I wanted Godzilla on Blu-ray, but I was doing a research paper for my film literacy class, which was my English class for my last year of high school, and I had to do a research paper. And my research paper was on Godzilla and essentially how it reflects, history, what it's an allegory for, and how it evolves throughout the series of films. And so the way I kind of did it was that I was analyzing Godzilla movies throughout the years. And so as part of that research paper, I had to not only have I could use online sources, but I had to have a physical paper source. And as you can imagine, literary, printed media for Godzilla, really hard to come by. There's only been a few books written, but the Criterion booklet, which had essays in a print form, was an acceptable source. So I had to pick this up, essentially to use it for my research paper. But of course, it's a really solid release, and it has this fun little pop-up, which is, I believe, the Godzilla 2000 design, not the 54 one, but the pop-up is fun. It shows the Criterion can have fun. And so I've had this released for a long time, obviously. I wrote that paper in 2013. So I've had this release quite a while. Was it out in 2013 or was it 2012? It was a 2012 release. But yeah, it was very vital to my actually graduating high school. And then this is the 4K edition, which came out a little while ago. Let's see, when was it? 2024. So it came out last year. I kind of forgot about it, and I did this video called 4K Blu-ray Woes, and I was talking about like, our first Godzilla 4K is Godzilla vs. Biollante, and a lot of people in the comments were like, no, they actually did re-release Godzilla 54 on 4K, and I totally forgot they did. Mostly because it's in the same exact packaging as the Blu-ray, which is great, because that means if you didn't get the Blu-ray with the fancy packaging, now you can get the 4K, and it's got it in it. But yeah, it's the 4K and the Blu-ray. It's, I'm sure it's an upgrade. I just thought, okay, yeah, I did forget this release had happened, and hey, if I'm picking stuff up 50% off, boom, here we go, gonna get my Godzilla upgraded. It's just kind of wild because it's been so long since I got the first release, and the fact that they're only just a little bit thicker, so it can have like a 2-disc spindle just to add that 4K, but otherwise they're pretty identical, is kind of wild. This one's a little beat up, so it's like, oh, no, not a new fresh copy. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it has sentimental value because I used it to graduate high school with. All right, next up we have A Hard Day's Night, which was the first Beatles movie, directed by Richard Lester. This movie I actually haven't seen. I have seen Help a couple times, which is my mom's favorite Beatles movie and one of her favorite Beatles albums, but I actually haven't seen A Hard Day's Night, which is actually their first movie. I've been on a bit of a Beatles deep dive recently, because I discovered this thing called Apple Music. Yeah, I got an Apple Music trial, and then I was like, oh, I can just listen to anything whenever I want. It's been kind of handy. I am also, because, you can tell I'm a physical media nerd, I'm the kind of guy that will, like, listen to an album on Apple Music and be like, I really like it, and then go buy the CD of it. So, it's, I've been kind of doing that. I've been collecting CDs again. But I've been going through, I thought this would be interesting, because, I've been, like, somebody, like, I like the Beatles music, there's certain songs I like, but I wasn't, like, a huge Beatles fan until the Get Back documentary, where it was kind of like, I sort of saw the Beatles as like the creative force they were and kind of, learn more about them. And so I really do like the Let It Be album because of that documentary, but also just in general really like it. And so what I decided to do was I was like, all right, let me go listen to the entire Beatles discography. And so I started at the beginning and have been kind of working my way through the albums. And Hard Day's Night, which was their third album, was made to go with this movie. So I've been wanting to watch this movie since I've heard that album. And once again, Criterion, 4K, wait for the sale. Here we are. And luckily, Barnes & Noble had the 4K. Really cool packaging art where you can see different pictures on the top and the bottom, which I think is great. Nice cover art as well. There is all the bonus features included. This is, this one I think is the best received out of the 3 movies the Beatles made. Not movies about the Beatles, but the ones they actually were in, which was this, Help, and Yellow Submarine. I have been looking for Yellow Submarine on Blu-ray. It's a little bit hard to come by, but so I got the Help Blu-ray. Now I got the 4K of Hard Day's Night. And the reason why this is such a thick case is not just because you've got the 4K and the Blu-ray of the movie, but because it comes with this thick old book. This is insane. So you've not only got like, good behind the scenes photos from the movie, but you've got, of course, your cast, you've got credits, and then you've got The Whole World is Watching by Howard Hampton, which is a very lengthy essay, which, is in there. And then you've got Richard Lester talking about working on the movie. And so this is like really detailed. And then there's like a bunch of extra, like this is most of the booklet is him talking about this movie. It's an interview with him. And you can see even we got some like color photos from the movie because the movie is in black and white. It is really, really cool. And I'm looking forward to diving into this after watching the movie, which I'm going to do in the near future because, again, never seen it, but looking forward to it. Yeah, kind of a little bland on this side. Is there an image behind these discs? There is. Oh, there's a good old classics Beatle image there. I put the little sticker from the front on there because it's kind of cool when they have like the director approved sticker because, yeah, they had the director involved with the transfer. But yeah, a pretty nice set for those of you who are Beatles fans that want a good copy of Hard Day's Night. This is probably the best one out of them all, and yeah, pretty nice. All right, next up we have His Girl Friday, Cary Grant, Rosalind Russell. This was another one of my mom's picks, in particular 1940. This is, it's known as the fastest, funniest, and most quotable film ever made. They say one of. It is pretty famous. The dialogue speed that characters speak in this is insane. It's the thing that stuck with me for the longest time since I've seen it. Again, it's been a minute since I've seen it. It's been a few years. But absolutely, incredible. It's really funny. The cool part that's included here is that this His Girl Friday is based on a story called The Front Page. And there was a previous film adaptation called The Front Page. And so you actually get both versions in the set. So it's actually a 2-movie collection, priced the same as a 1-movie collection, which I think is awesome. And then the other cool part is that instead of a booklet, you get a faux newspaper, which is actually like, look at this. You got an actual like looking newspaper, which opens up. You even have like the in sheets are, separate pages. And so you get all of the same stuff you would normally expect in a Criterion booklet, except it's in the form of a newspaper because the story is about, a newspaper. I think that is so cool. And it's kind of hard to fold it back up because it kind of overlaps a lot. But this is a really cool set. When we picked it up, we were like, oh yeah, His Girl Friday, we're gonna get that, put it in the collection. But it was one of those like, oh, it also includes the front page. Like, that's pretty awesome. And I've never seen the front page, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. But definitely a good set to pick up if you're interested in this movie. All right, next up, The Lady Eve, Barbara Stanwyck, Henry Fonda, another one of my mom's picks. A lot of these were my mom's picks. I actually don't think I've seen this movie. I was trying to remember which of these I've seen because a lot of movies, older movies I watched with my mom, it was either on DVD or on Turner Classic Movies back when we had cable and stuff. And so sometimes I don't remember if I've seen them because it's been like a long time. I haven't had cable in well over a decade. But yeah, this is a Blu-ray edition of the movie. Once again, nice booklet. I don't remember this one, so I don't think I have seen The Lady Eve personally. Obviously, gonna do that in the very near future. It's on the. I kind of want to go through this whole stack of movies before putting them on a shelf. But yeah, pretty cool. Looking forward to it. It looks fun. Once again, booklet. Criterion hooks you up with all kinds of stuff. All right, next up we have The Lady Vanishes, which is an early Hitchcock film. It's not one of his Universal pictures. You can also notice this is Criterion release number 3. So Criterion has this system where no matter what release it is, the number stays the same. So Lady Vanishes was the 3rd entry in the Criterion collection. Godzilla was the 594th. And so the 4K Godzilla is still spine number 594. Because that's when it was entered into the collection, not when it was released. Because this was obviously a whole, 12 years after this one. But you can see the numbers are still the same because the same movie as the entry point. But it's just kind of wild because I don't usually see single-digit Criterion numbers. This is a Blu-ray edition, 1938 film. Plenty of bonus features included. I haven't seen this one before. This is another one that I am looking forward to seeing. It's a Hitchcock movie. It's also interesting to see Hitchcock prior to Hitchcock really being famous, and that's also kind of fun. Neat little booklet in here as well. I like I love the overall look of it. It does involve a train, so of course they're calling it All Aboard for the essay part. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and you got 2 essays in here. which is awesome. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, well, once again, I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself a bit, but I am looking forward to checking this movie out for the first time. And it should be pretty good, considering it's a Criterion release. Time for another upgrade, The Princess Bride. So this is not only like one of my favorite movies, it's one of my dad's favorite movies, it's one of my mom's favorite movies. It's so much one of our favorite movies that my dad proposed to my mom in the accent of the Reverend from the wedding scene. So it is a movie that is very special to this family. So Princess Bride, it's absolutely one of the best like comedies. It's great. I love it. It's so quotable. And the fun part is Criterion released it in this edition that looks like a storybook, because the whole framing device of the movie is that it's being read as a story. And so it's really cool. You got illustrations, but then you've got, of course, your essays, which kind of go into the movie as well. But then you have these iconic scenes from the movie in painted like storybook form, which is really, really cool. You know, this is why I push back from the narrative that like Criterion's like a little stuffy, because like, look at this. This is like, you know, this is an absurd comedy, and they give it like the full treatment and the full love here. And, you know, I think they also know because it'll sell well, because it's, you know, The Princess Bride and people love it. But I think it's great that they put all this in here. There's the little back page, in case you're wondering, the bonus features. This is the 4K edition of the movie, which, as you can imagine, yes, we did also have the Blu-ray, so you can see 4K. So 4K and Blu-ray on there, and then yes, they did do the same exact thing for the Blu-ray. So what's interesting, and I noticed this, the size is a little bit different, right, because it has to add the double spindle. The booklet is the same, right, like the actual booklet part sewn into the back here. That's the same. It's just, yeah, you have 2 discs instead of 1. The thing I find interesting, though, is that they did reissue the Blu-ray of Princess Bride when the 4K came out, and so there's a standard case Blu-ray out there, whereas if you want the nice book style, you got to go with the 4K. So sneaky, but clever. And again, it was a nice way to reissue kind of a more limited style packaging, and I do appreciate that. It's something that both Criterion and Arrow Video do, is that if they go to re-release a movie in a higher format, so if they had it as Blu-ray and they put it out in 4K, they reissue the limited edition packaging all the same, and I'm really glad for that, because sometimes you miss out on the first and you get the second go around on it because, you know, you're picking up the new format. All right, here's another one of my picks, surprisingly, because I haven't seen this. My mom's seen this. This is The Red Shoes, and the reason why this attracted my attention was because we were at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts Film Museum in Los Angeles, and one of the sections of the exhibit was like about motion, and one of the things they showed was the Red Shoes, and they specifically had the Red Shoes from the Red Shoes, and they were playing scenes of it on a projector screen, and I thought it was really fascinating. I thought, you know, I want to actually watch that movie sometime, and so here it is. And you know, it's a nice Criterion release, Criterion 44. This is the 4K Blu-ray edition of it. It is a 4K master from the 2009 restoration. So, you know, it's you know, taking that restoration they did and just putting it onto the 4K disc. Lots of great stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen it, but it involves ballet. There's kind of like a, you know, from what I saw, it was a very visual storytelling type movie, which I'm super into visual storytelling. The more you show me and the less you tell me, I'm all in for it. I love that kind of open interpretation filmmaking. And so I really want to see this. I'm looking forward to it. This might be one of the first ones of this stack that I actually do watch, because, again, I was fascinated. I was pulled in by the visual style of this movie just from the little bit of it I saw in that museum. And so, yeah, you know, hey, look at that. The museum got me to check out a movie I probably wouldn't have looked at otherwise, but yeah. And of course, you know me, it's like, oh, could I find it on digital or streaming? Yeah, sure, probably. 50% off Criterion also works. Robinson Crusoe on Mars. Once again, going into that, Criterion does have fun. This is one of my mom's picks. I think I saw this. This is one of those, you know, I'm not sure if I saw it. I think I did. I'm not 100% certain. We'll find out. I'll watch it again, load it into my Letterboxd account and stuff. But this is a classic sci-fi movie. It's based on a novel, Robinson Crusoe on Mars. There has been, you know, other adaptations that do a similar idea to this. We got big old block text for your essay included, and I love kind of like this very like 60s sci-fi sort of thing to look at. What is it? Font, detailing, that sort of thing. This is a really nice looking set. I gotta tell you, the cover art on this is really great. I love the painted look. It's really, really cool. Yeah, looking forward to checking this one out again. Some Like It Hot. This is a classic. This is one I for sure have seen. I think I've seen it a couple times. This was on the list because it was a new release recently. I was like, all right, waiting for the next sale. 1959. It's a Billy Wilder production. But this movie, so you've got, here's the thing. This is a movie from 1959, right? And let's talk about this. This is like one of the more progressive movies of its time, or in general. So this is, after witnessing a mob hit, Chicago musicians Joe and Jerry, which is Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, skip town by donning drag and joining an all-female band en route to Miami. The charm of the group's singer Sugar Kane, played by Marilyn Monroe, leads them even further into extravagant lies as Joe assumes the persona of a millionaire to woo her, and Jerry's female alter ego winds up engaged to a tycoon. So that's kind of like insanely cool. This is a movie that I think a lot of people have been sharing the final scene of the movie to kind of show you, like, you know, how as a society we really, you know, have sort of regressed in ways, because the way that this movie portrays, you know, men in drag, or, you know, just in general, like, the look of the characters and the way it's treated and the way that, like, that characters are handled is a lot better than some, you know, stories even nowadays. And I think that it's such a clever, witty comedy, but it's also like a great, like, reflection of life. The ending scene of this movie, if you've never seen it, is hilarious. It's one of the funniest, funniest scenes, but it's not done with, like, any vile or disdain towards, you know, anybody at all. And I think that's kind of like the heartwarmingness of the movie is what really has made it, like, stand out for so many years and just really be such an iconic piece of cinema. Looking forward to revisiting it. Been, of course, waiting for the good old 4K to come out, but definitely a good pickup to have. All right, next up we have The Three Musketeers and The Four Musketeers, which is both movies. They're, of course, sequels to each other in one set. I've never seen a Criterion release use a thick case like this before, so that was new for me. Look at this cast. Look at that cast. That is a stacked cast. So these movies, let's see, when was the Three Musketeers? I think the Three Musketeers was, yeah, Three Musketeers was 73, Four Musketeers 74. I guess we'll start here. Here's the bonus features. There's a lot of stuff included on here. It is 4K and Blu-ray for both movies. So it did have a little bit of a higher price point. They did price it as two movies, but still actually was cheaper than buying two separate releases. So we got Blu-ray, 4K, all set up. And then, of course, we have a really nice, a nice little mural on the back of the fold-out booklet. And then, of course, you got your essays in there as well, which is really, really awesome. It's going to be fun to revisit. I know I think I for sure have seen Three Musketeers. I don't know if I've seen four, but I probably could have seen them, but it's been a long time. But pretty cool set overall. The War of the Worlds. My mom spotted this one. It's one I've seen before. It's the original War of the Worlds, not the Tom Cruise version that came later. It's 1953. Classic science fiction film. Really, really freaky, too. The War of the Worlds is a story. Has a lot of history in kind of the storytelling landscape of American, pop culture. There's not only this movie. There's not only the Tom Cruise movie that's, I think, more well-known because they still have the crashed airplane sitting on the Universal backlot for tours. But the original, there was a radio drama of War of the Worlds that Orson Welles read so well live to an audience that they had to pause and tell people, this is a fictional story. It's not an actual news report. It actually, you can look it up. It's pretty wild. But yeah, back in the days of radio, people thought, oh no, we're being invaded by aliens. And it was a radio drama that was done as the perspective of a reporter reporting on it. But yeah, it was kind of a wild time. But yeah, so you got, really cool looking booklet, really neat artwork, nice little essay on the inside, and then of course your cast and restoration details. Pretty awesome. Looking forward to watching this again. It's been a bit, but I definitely remember it. It's a solid movie. Winchester 73, James Stewart, directed by Anthony Mann. This was one of my mom's picks, 1950. I don't believe I've ever seen this. This one did not ring a bell for me. Looking forward to it. I've been trying to watch more Westerns. There's been a lot of discussion recently about how superhero movies are kind of the modern day Western, in that, for a long time, Hollywood was just pumping out Westerns like crazy. And then, recently we've been pumping out superhero movies like crazy. But then audiences got tired of Westerns and they never came back. We've never gotten the Western genre back. There's been some modern interpretations of the Western genre, but we've never gotten the whole genre back is like actually set in its original time frame. But anyways, Winchester 73, 4K Blu-ray, got a booklet to go with it. And so, you know, it's been kind of fun revisiting the Western genre. Recently, I've been watching a lot more of them, and it's been kind of interesting to see kind of like, yeah, they would really pump these out. And, you know, I'm sure, like, at the time, there was people going, oh, I'm tired of Westerns. Oh, they're always doing the same thing, even though I think that a lot of these movies are a lot more unique. And I guess it's kind of the way I view superhero movies. I guess also because I'm a comic book fan, so I'm kind of used to it. But, you know, a lot of superhero movies, people are like, oh, it's just the same thing as ever. I'm like, oh, look at this, all difference, you know. But people don't see it because they're just tired of the genre. And that's kind of what happened to Westerns, I think. It kind of ran into the same thing. Except Westerns never got a resurgence. Maybe one day. And then wrapping this all out, The Wiz. If you saw one of my previous Blu-ray hauls, I bought The Wiz on Blu-ray right after, I think it was the day the Oscars aired, because Queen Latifah did this great rendition of Ease on Down the Road. And I was like, I need to get The Wiz on Blu-ray. It's been too long. And then 2 days later, Criterion announced this. It's happened to me before, but never usually that quick. So this is the 4K Blu-ray Blu-ray combo edition. There also is a standalone Blu-ray. This movie is great. I love the cover art. It's so vibrant, so colorful. So this is a Motown interpretation of the Wizard of Oz story. This was done in 1978. You have an all-star cast, an incredible soundtrack, really great performances, and a cool, unique visual take on the Wizard of Oz story that we're all used to. You got 4K and Blu-ray there, and you can see a lot of that visuals from the movie. The booklet itself has a nice rendition of the Emerald City skyline, which of course looks like a modern city, because this is kind of a modern version of it. Really neat little essay inside, which is of course on yellow. But yeah, look at this cast. I mean, we had Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell, Ted Ross, Mabel King, Theresa Merritt, Thelma Carpenter, Lena Horne, and Richard Pryor. This was a stacked cast. It is a great musical. The musical numbers will stick in your head forever. It's so good. And I'm glad that there's a new update transfer of it, because the previous Blu-ray, the one I bought like 2 months ago, 3 months, well, when was the Oscars? Back in February? Whatever. A few months ago, I bought the Blu-ray, and it looked fine. It didn't have any bonus features. It was very bare bones. This is the kind of stuff. We got new audio commentaries. We got archival interviews. Like this is the stuff I want, and it's also on a 4K, which is great. And it's also produced, the producer, Rob Cohen, approved the 4K, so even better. But yeah, this was, it was one of those, I think it was a June release, and I was like, well, I'm just going to wait a few weeks until that Criterion sale starts, and then we ended up with all those other titles. So that was our Criterion Collection haul from this sale. A lot of great stuff, stuff seen, stuff hadn't seen, a couple upgrades. Looking forward to watching more movies. I think we all could do to watch more movies from different time periods, from different eras, from different styles, different genres. It's fun. You don't always have to go with the same things you always like. Try some different things. And so I hope that maybe these are some good recommendations. If you were looking for things, what should I pick up on the sale? Maybe I give you some guidance there. Let me know in the comments down below what your pickups are on the sale, if you are doing any, and let me know what you think. Also, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and the notification bell if you haven't already. Really do appreciate that. If you want to continue the conversation, you can join our Discord server in the link below. And if you want to help support the channel directly, you can join as a channel member. There's perks like early access to videos, member-exclusive live streams, and more. Let's give some special shout-outs to our channel members. Special shout-out to all of our channel members, including Captain Tier, Spin-54, MasterBin95, Forever1000, Super Shaggy Spoon, Professional Troll Taylor, Jeffrey Piamonti, Lacey Dean, Ben Nguyen, Mr. Airverse16, Jamie's World, Cineroth, The Clueless Collector, Z-Man 12 Bat, Isabella Lawrence, Geets, TRPCRD, Omega Singh, Kakiku Kaku, Mario Anthony Gangwon, Ben Odinson, and Mr. Smelly Potato. Thank you everybody for your wonderful support of this channel. If you so wish, you can find me on social media. I'm on Blue Sky and Letterboxd, so you can find me at Soundout12 on both. You can find my awesome graphic designer on social media and our Discord server at DarkClaw643, and you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com with its newly revamped website for entertainment news, interviews, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.